What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here to run down everything that happened tonight. You get to the best of both worlds on this review, whether you watched it or whether you want me to tell you what happened. Either way, we're going to go over this event in full detail in just under half an hour. So always get comfortable, crack open a drink, whatever you do, to have a smoke, whatever relaxes you, because tonight we're going to go over SmackDown and what transpired with just over 2 weeks to WrestleMania. For Friday, March the 22nd, 2024, the first official WWE show of spring. And with just 15 days until WrestleMania 40, SmackDown comes to you tonight from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we're just going to run down everything that happened with some analysis on the side. So get ready. All right, first I'd like to say hit like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do these reviews on the regular, every hour within the hour, Raw and SmackDown, both shows. You can see my review up. It's usually 20 to 25, 30 minutes if it's a long show. SmackDown's usually your reviews are done within 20 to 25 minutes. Raw might be closer to the half an hour mark. But this is what I like to do. I also do PLE events, of course, and I also look back at the Monday Night Wars. So this is what the channel is all about. Tonight delivered in the sense that every match that took place had its quality, and the storylines behind the matches for Mania got a whole lot of build as well. We knew going in we'd get the big CODY Roman face-to-face, one-on-one, and it would stay hyped that way. We knew we would get Rey versus Escobar, but would this be the match, or will this further delay a tag match of the future, or maybe a different match altogether like Rey versus Dominic? We'd find out later in the broadcast. Barrett and Graves do the commentary, so let's get right to the show. Again, March 22nd, 2024, Friday night from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We kick off the show with outside shot of the link they call Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. They call it the Link. Then from the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, an outside shot of the crowd, just like the New Direction. It's not Kevin Dunn anymore, but the new WWE Direction always shows the PLE event outside. And then it cuts to a shot of outside the arena where we have Raw or SmackDown. I like that New Direction. It's a cool little side thing that they do that's new to the WWE, much like a lot of the promos before matches and other little tidbits we see here and there. We see signs of a new WWE when Vince left and Kevin Dunn left, for that matter. And a lot of it's good. So props to the WWE for that. We kick things off with Booyaka Booyaka, Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar. So we're like, okay, we're going to get a really big match to start the show. That's cool. But the question coming in is this the match that they're saving for WrestleMania? We're going to get like a preview of this match, because that's the story the last few months. It's been Santos Escobar's leaving LWO and joining Legado del Fantasma. So is this just going to lead into a further rematch, or is this going to lead to a tag match and we're getting the singles match here? That's what we all had questions coming in. Rey and Escobar get it going. Rey looking for revenge, shaking off his bad knee with a lot of kicks, a lot of ring rust. Escobar cornered as Rey take out of his revenge early. Escobar went down to beg with Rey, but then Rey came back with a double wrist lock and he walked the ropes, only he fell. And this, I don't know if the fall was intentional or not, but this played to the story of Rey being ring rust. Rey being new, coming back from an injury. So I liked it, even if it was not meant to happen. They really improvised quite well. Corey Graves did excellent on commentary, talking about how Rey lost his footing and how it's a simple sign of ring rust. So it followed the story, whether it was meant to happen or not. Escobar got sent into the floor with a baseball slide onto Santos from the floor. Rey with amazing height, that flying crossbody, and then to a seated senton back into the ring. The match got interrupted after another seated senton when it looked like Rey Mysterio came to ringside with a mask, a Rey Mysterio mask on, only to reveal himself as his son, Dominic, Dirty Dom, for the Judgment Day. Things turned around for Rey after that point. The match took a hiccup or two. It was actually going quite well. And it's clear that there's more to this story, to this rivalry, than just Santos versus Rey, as showed tonight. I don't know if they're going to go with Dom versus Rey for WrestleMania, or maybe a tag match, or maybe just a rematch of this, but we'll have to find out later. Escobar hits the Tiger feint kick, fireman's carry. Escobar with the win with a phantom driver. Gave the match 2.5 stars. If it wasn't interrupted and it was a little bit longer, it was going north of 3-star category. But 2.5 just for tonight, just because of the interruption and how it didn't conclude from there. Backstage, so more to come revolving Rey and Escobar in future weeks, to be sure. And maybe as far as the match goes, it's announced next week. You got to think we're 15 days from WrestleMania 40. It's coming quickly. Backstage, Naomi and Bayley were explaining each other's motives over the last couple of weeks, but Bianca Belair isn't ready to forgive Bayley as she feels it's all Bayley's deeds catching up to her. It's all karma. Bayley, for the longest time, was running Damage Control and was running rampant off for people like Bianca Belair, and Naomi wasn't around to see that. But Naomi feels a lot of sympathy, a lot of care, a lot of empathy for Bayley and what she's going through with Damage Control. But Bianca Belair can't understand why, because she was the one being run down for weeks and weeks, if not months, while Naomi was on the sidelines. But Naomi feels sorry for Bayley at this time. So the storyline furthers. Bianca tells Naomi her feelings are valid. Everything is valid. Valid is now the new catchword of 2024. For anyone who didn't know, just like toxic was the word for 2023, just like vibes was the word of 2022, now we got valid, as everybody's saying valid. Anyway, we get a WrestleMania 40 tag team tournament qualifier. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus the OC, Gallows and Anderson with Michin. This looks like we're going to get Theory and Waller's path to Mania, or at least to the finals for next week's match, because they'll go up against the winner of the AOP Street Profits match later in the night. Gallows called the big LG, takes it to Theory with the clubbing blows in the corner. A clothesline, and Anderson with a somersault plancha to the outside doing their pose after a big spot. We go to a break. The OC dominant from the break after, but Waller comes to the aid of Theory eventually in the ring. Theory and Waller steal the match as Austin's legs were on the ropes in the end, and he held onto the tights for the victory, holding the trunks while both his legs were on the ropes for further agility and leverage. They face the winner tonight of tonight's tag team match, and they get the victory. I rated that tag match a 1.75 stars. Reigns was on the Pat McAfee show and talked about being champ since August of 2020, and says he's the only one who didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to him, and I thought that was a nice little quote, so I thought I'd write that in my notes for this SmackDown review. A nice quote from the Tribal Chief, who talked about Cody just being another chapter in his head of the table book. Io Sky with Damage Control took on Naomi in a non-title match. Io was shown beating on Bayley backstage, so she's a little bit late for her entrance. Bayley looks to be in a lot of pain, holding her shoulder while she's laying on her back on the concrete backstage as the refs finally came to separate Io's attack. But Bayley didn't see it coming, and Bayley is down in pain. This is why Bayley didn't interrupt the segment later after we'd see, because she's obviously hurt. Io Sky with a beautiful Hurricane Rana off the top and then a dropkick into the corner to Naomi. This was a really good match between the two. Sky chokes out Naomi on the middle rope. Naomi then flexing her next level of athleticism with a big boot, springboard, Hurricane Rana. Then a running bulldog as Io was in trouble. Back from the commercial break, Io was in trouble in the ring. Now the match was up to Naomi as Io Sky was down. She had the offensive onslaught. Naomi with a modified stunner, neck breaker on Sky on the outside apron. Naomi leaps up, driving Sky's head into the buckle. Naomi with a crossbody off the top, and she has Sky in the corner. A drop kick to the sitting in the corner, more shots. Naomi then drops a splash with her on top of her with a big splits. And Corey Graves Bad News Barrett says Corey Graves has hidden a move like that, and he says not in a million years. I'm paraphrasing it. He said something along those lines. He obviously doesn't have a split, does the splits on a guy. Sky dropping a big kick to Naomi. Sky with a victory roll and a double stomp to the sternum of Naomi. Naomi with Sky's head below her waist and a moonsault off the top. Sky getting the victory with help from Damage Control. Io Sky wins with the moonsault over the moonsault with help from Damage Control. Naomi, after the match, beaten up, then gets the dreaded Poison Mist. Bianca Belair comes to the ring to even the odds, but Damage Control takes down both ladies, and Bayley would have come out to make the save, but she got attacked pre-match by Io Sky, so that's how that ended. I gave the match 3 stars. I thought Naomi and Io Sky did a wonderful job in this ring tonight. The crowd chanted for Bayley as Damage Control beat on the two ladies, but no Bayley was seen, as I said before. Why? Nick Aldis signed Jade Cargill, who will be at SmackDown officially next week. I'm thinking a match with Belair is probable for WrestleMania if she's not taking on the Kabuki Warriors with Naomi. They could go either way. They could go Kabuki Warriors versus Naomi and Bianca Belair, or they could go Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill and then pair Naomi up with somebody else to take on the Kabuki Warriors. I don't know how Tiffany Stratton gets involved either, but she laughed backstage at Bianca Belair and Naomi after the match when she was putting ice on her wounds. A reminder that Jade Cargill will be on the show next week, and also CM Punk is going to be on Raw this Monday from Chi-Town, his hometown. So we'll see what the Cult of Personality has to say. Kevin Owens tells Pretty Deadly that next week when he's talking to Nick Aldis, they interrupt. And he says next week they'll take on him and a partner he had a few weeks ago. And then Randy Orton shocks Pretty Deadly from behind and says, yeah, I'm going to take with you, Owens. So that's 2 of the 3 men in the U.S. title triple threat at WrestleMania XL or WrestleMania 40 when Logan Paul defends the U.S. title against both Orton and Owens. Orton and Owens will be a partnership next week. We'll see if they can coexist. It's surely going to go that way during the match. Maybe somebody will bump into somebody and they'll get some bad blood on the way to the triple threat. So it's not just a 2-on-1 at Mania. They tend to do that when it's a face-heel triple threat. The faces usually have some bad blood boiling over. Last week, I said the WWE get a little bit more creative with AJ Styles and LA Knight. And I said that because this is LA Knight and AJ Styles. This is a big-time WrestleMania match. And I thought last week was a little simplistic with AJ Styles just running in off the stage with a chair shot. So I said in my SmackDown review last week, I said, can't they get a little bit more creative? And as just an example, I said, instead of being a chair, why not, can it be a lead pipe? And instead of happening on the stage, why can't it happen in the parking lot? Something like that. So what they do this week is complete 180. They get really creative, and they get the cops involved, and they get LA Knight coming to AJ's property, and they're brawling outside. The cops break it up, and so we see not only like WWE camera footage, we see police cam footage. So they, for believability and all that, and we see that LA Knight get put in the back of a police car, and he's cutting his promo from the back of a police car. So I thought that was excellent. I thought that showed a lot of creativity, and it gave this feud a little bit extra spark. So great job for the WWE there on the show. That was one of the highlights of the show tonight. This week they're having the brawl. The cops break it up, and this promo from behind the police car was great. So good creativity there. Next up, we had the main event matches-wise for the night. The Street Profits took on the AOP of the Final Testament. The winners will take on Waller and Theory next week. They didn't say that, but I'm guessing it's next week. And the winner of that gets to the ladder match at WrestleMania for the tag titles. The winners take on Theory and Waller between AOP and Street Profits. Dawkins and Razor begin in the ring. Ford powerbombed into Dawkins on the outside, which was super impressive. But in the end, the Street Profits with a roll-up to make the AOP not look weak team-wise, but the Profits advance. A bit of a predictable ending with the roll-up of Doom. Because how are they going to have the Street Profits just lose simplistically in the opening round? They're not going to. And how are they going to have the big Akam and Razor? How are they going to have the big Authors of Pain lose? It's obviously going to be a roll-up out of nowhere, right? Sure enough, it was. So the Street Profits advance. I gave that a 1.75 stars. That does it for the match portion of the show. They advertise next week Jade Cargill, of course, and The Rock for the Monday Night After on April 1st from Brooklyn. Roman is heading to the ring with Heyman as they take their long walk in the concourse. The Roman Cody segment main events the show. It takes the entire fourth quarter of all 4 quarters of the show. The last half hour is this segment. Roman walks to the ring with Heyman as promised, just on his own, or so we think. Roman for over 1,300 days, reigning strong as champion. The fans chant for Cody as Roman is yet to speak. He waits and says the wise man has made a promise, and the tribal chief has kept his word. And that's what I am, a man of my word. No bloodline. Roman says it's time for Cody to join, and it's time, Milwaukee, to acknowledge me. Crowd boo and then chant for Cody. To end the show, we get Cody Rhodes on his way to ringside for the one-on-one build that we got advertised for the last week, that they're going to face each other one-on-one for a head-to-head. It's much needed as the tag match is getting all the build and spotlight, as it should. It involves The Rock, but it main events night 1. This is the main event of night 2. We need some further build, so it's good that they're doing this tonight. We need the Cody-Roman rivalry to be re-sparked, and that's what they did tonight. Cody's theme hits, and out comes the number 1 contender for the WWE title, the man who was the winning man at War Games, the man who won the 2023 and 2024 Royal Rumble by last eliminating Gunther, and then this year, I can't remember who he eliminated. I think, CM Punk lost. And now he's going to WrestleMania 39. He loses to Reigns. He's going to WrestleMania 40, and we'll see what stipulations on night 1 happen, and he'll face Reigns in night 2. Fans pop as Rhodes enters the ring to join the head of the table, and he's one-on-one with the tribal chief as advertised. Roman says, "Here you are. I kept my word. I'm here by myself. But how about you, huh?" Cody said, "Well, I'm as much of a man of my word as you are. So if you came alone, I came alone." Roman says he bought it, didn't he, to Paul? And he went, "You're such a fool. You're stupid to me. Hear me out. From my perspective, you're not fit to be the face of this company because you're an idiot. Nobody cares. Start thinking with your head. You align yourself with Rollins, and he will be your shield." And Roman starts laughing. Roman then says, "You realize I was in the shield with him, and he stabbed me in the back. So what do you think he'll do to you? And this is why I think you're a fool." So good arguments by Roman Reigns to Cody Rhodes here. Cody says, Can I trust Rollins? Well, first off, I do remember the Shield, and who was the first team to beat them? Roman looked lost, and he said the last name was Rhodes. I believe it was the Rhodes brothers at the time. I wasn't watching, but I do remember the Rhodes brothers took on them a lot because on my match list, I have this big match rating list. They have a match that I rewatched, and I remember them being in the ring together, and I rated it pretty highly. They're on the 4-star category, if I do believe. Cody says, "Seth may hate my guts, but I know he hates you even more." And then he turns the tables on Roman and he says, "But how about you? Can you trust your Mania partner?" Cody says, "Can you trust The Rock? Who is really in charge? Is it the tribal chief or the final boss?" And the crowd, ooh. Roman says, "Cody sounds like a politician. Nothing ever comes true, and with whatever Rhodes says, he doesn't follow through with it." And that's the difference between the two. Roman says, "You're a number 2. And that's the story here. And he says, "Don't get me wrong, you're a great number 2. But I am number 1 forever." And the fans boo. Cody says, "Let's get real here. You grew up in this industry wanting to be the next Bruno, Flair, Hogan, Rock, Cena, Austin." And Cody says, "When it comes to beating you, I'm number 1. Good luck at WrestleMania." A handshake attempt, then Roman dropped the mic. They looked face to face, no words were said. And then Roman just said to Paul, "I'm not doing this." And then Paul lifted the title up high and shook Heyman's hand instead. Roman and Heyman walked to the back, and then Roman turns around at the top of the entrance and snaps his fingers. And the Bloodline then come to the ring. Sikoa on one side of the crowd, Jimmy Uso on the other. The Sharks have begun to circle around the ring, so Roman isn't a man of his word after all. Cody, is he a man of his word? Well, Cody said this exact quote, and I repeat, "If you came alone, I came alone." So he never said he was alone. He just said that if he came alone, he would be alone. But Roman didn't come alone, so he wasn't alone. The tables have turned as they're going around the ring, and Cody Rhodes, all of a sudden, you see another Uso, and it's Jay. And for a minute, you're thinking, is that Jimmy still? No, it's Jay. And then you see Seth Rollins on the other side as they take off their clothing and reveal themselves. Roman's snapping his finger doesn't work. His snap of the fingers only caused Rhodes to get friends around the ring circling Roman. And Rhodes just one-ups Reigns by having his friends come to the ring and stand tall with him as Roman Reigns and the Bloodline looked on. Corey Graves gives it a nice call and says, "Let's go Philly, let's go Philadelphia," as they build up night 2 of WrestleMania's main event. So overall, a good segment for sure. Not legendary or all that memorable, but a valuable one on the road to Mania. Definitely worthy of closing a show with the friends of Cody Rhodes coming to his aid. I thought that was good. I rate this show a 6 out of 10. The matches were good. The ones that took place, just 4 on the show. The show was about story more than matches. Damage Control took up a large portion of the show. The story there, I thought that evolved nicely. Cody Roman was the main build and took up the entire 4th quarter with the program, with their entrances, building towards the main event time slot. The question was answered. We got Mysterio and Escobar building to, but what are they building to? A further tag team match, or maybe a one-on-one with Dom and Ray, one-on-one with Escobar and Ray, maybe a 2-on-1. A cool AJ LA Knight Police segment showing the creativity on the brand was escalated in this show. But ending with the visual of Jay and Rollins coming to Cody's aid was the coolest part of the night. I'm not even a Seth fan, but I like that. So all in all, it was a good show. Nothing terrible or boring tonight. Wrestling is at its best when it's a 2-hour show. 2 hours. So this weekly show was done nicely. I give it a 6 out of 10 with Roman and Cody face-to-face 15 days before WrestleMania 40. And just as I end my review, I have, as advertised, it goes 20 minutes in length exactly. So I think that's pretty interesting. It always seems to be 20 minutes. If it's Raw, it goes closer to 30 minutes because of the third hour, of course. So yeah, overall, I don't think this was a bad show. I think this was a quality episode of SmackDown for what they had. There wasn't a Rock, so we felt the star power drop a little bit because for the last 3 weeks, we've been gracious enough to have the Rock on SmackDown, taking up 1/4 of the 4 quarters. No Rock this time. The show didn't fall that much in quality. It's still built towards WrestleMania. I thought it did a nice job. And that's all I got for SmackDown tonight, guys. March 22nd, 2024. The first WWE show of the spring. And it's a pretty good success. SmackDown was pretty entertaining tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Brett Mix for SmackDown Review, and I'm out.